Hey y'all, JaemiO here, and today I will be reviewing Champion Easter Basket. Hey y'all, JaemiO here, and today is Brew Review Day. If this is your first time here, Brew Review is basically a segment that I do every week, either reviewing a new craft beer or a tea and just getting you to know more about that specific brew. So today I'm actually reviewing Easter Basket by Champion Brewing Company. It's a double India Pale Ale, or IPA, brewed with coffee and chocolate. I shared in another video that I don't really care for IPAs that much, but this one caught my eye because it's a double IPA, but it's got coffee and chocolate. Normally you see coffee and chocolate in your darker beers like your stouts and your porters. So I'm really excited to see what this tastes like. So before I taste the beer, a little bit of background about Champion Brewing. So I'd actually never heard of Champion Brewing. I did a build your own 6-pack at Total Wine about a month ago. I know that's ridiculous. I've been kind of holding on to this beer to try it, but about a month ago, and this one caught my eye, like I said, and I saw Easter Basket, and Easter was coming up, and so I was like, huh, that's different. And then I saw, like I said, the different ingredients. I was like, maybe I'll try that. So it wasn't until I was doing a little bit of research about this beer that I realized that Champion Brewing is actually a brewery in Virginia. I didn't realize that. So it's actually, now I couldn't really get a whole lot of information on them, but from what I can tell, they were started in Charlottesville, and they had like a very small brew house. I think it says like 3 barrels, and they grew out of that, which I think is a great story of entrepreneurship and defeating the odds. They grew out of that, have a second much larger facility in Charlottesville, and then they also have one in Richmond. I think, and I'm pretty sure about this, that the one in Richmond, the brewery in Richmond, is just for brewing purposes only. And you're seeing that more and more now as craft breweries get bigger and more well known. They don't really change, so they still keep that small feel and that craft feel, especially doing the one-off beers. Basically, like you only see this beer one time or a really small batch, but they'll expand so they can keep trying out new things, which I think is so cool. Strange Ways is actually doing that right now as well. So you don't have to worry, like I can't think of one company, one craft brewery that actually expanded and became like a Budweiser or a Miller or a Coors. Not that they may not be as successful as that, but they still kept their craft brewery style. So I think it's kind of interesting that IPAs are called India Pale Ale when they have they didn't come from India. So actually way back, so like 1700s, pale ales were like a new style of beer, and it's not that they were like a pilsner. They weren't like light, like say a Bud Light. It was that they were lighter than the beers they were used to, and it had a lot to do with the water that was used and the location of where they were brewing this beer. And then later on, it was a heat source in the beer brewing process that basically made the beer lighter. So it's not that it's light, like I said, like a pilsner, but it's lighter than what they were used to back then. So like I said, your stouts and darker brown ales that you would see in England at that time. So when they started traveling to India, they needed more hops. So hops acts as a natural preservative, and they realized that hops could be used to preserve the beer. So they kept adding more and more hops, and it wasn't until I think like the late 1800s that they were able to actually come up with a ratio that helped best for trips to India. And so they also had different ratios for, say, certain climates and certain parts of India for certain seasons, and the names were super long. So it was like East to West India Pale Ale for warm climate. It was pretty interesting that they had those long names, and eventually it got shorter and shorter and shorter, and they came up with this one style, but still had variations in it, but a main style that was called IPA, and it had basically double the hops that you see in a pale ale. So what is a double IPA? One of the things that a lot of craft breweries really like to play with are hops presence, which is pretty good because most craft beer drinkers really enjoy different levels of hops, especially like super hoppy beers. So normally, like I said, an India Pale Ale means double the hops from a pale ale. But a double IPA used to mean, and still in some cases, when you see double on something or imperial, it actually means the same thing. That normally stands for the brewer's top or best ales. But in cases of craft breweries, when you see double IPA or imperial IPA, what it could actually mean is that they just went crazy with the hops. So in this case, I'm not sure what it means. Actually, I would actually have to, I guess, ask the brewery, which I would love to take a trip there. So maybe that'll be on my list for the brewery reviews. So on to tasting this beer. So it's in a can. So I really appreciate just reading about Champion. It seems like they do a lot with IPAs. It seems like they're almost like Kotu mixed with Strange Ways. So it's not that most craft brewers don't already like go into the whole let's try all these new things, but it seemed like they were on a level of Strange Ways, but they like to go towards the hop side, so the IPA side, like Kotu. So I think that's pretty neat. So maybe they'll be able to convert me to an IPA lover. I don't know, but I appreciate that they really seem to commit to the can, and I'll post another video about the difference between can versus bottles. Technically, cans are better than bottles, and I'll share that in that video I do about this. But usually, if I'm drinking at home and I have, like I'm on the porch or something like that, and I want to drink the beer right out of its container, I go with a bottle. But the can actually a lot better in some ways, both environmentally and taste-wise. And like I said, I'll share another video about that. So this beer, we're going to go ahead and pour it up. It's 70 IBUs, 8% alcohol. That's kind of high. Our Mosaic Double IPA brewed with a new twist, chocolate and coffee for a complex beer unlike any we've made before. So I did see on their site, or it might have been on their Twitter feed, that it was saying that come and get the last of this batch. So I don't know if this is a beer that they kind of only do every once in a while, or if it's once in a year, or it's just their first time doing it, it's the last time doing it. So as I'm pouring this, like I said, always pour against the side. I can smell it. It smells really good. IPAs usually have really creamy heads that kind of last for a while. See if you look at that, like, that is beautiful. So you see where it's paler than a brown ale or a stout, but it's not as pale as a Pilsner, so it's not clear and see-through. Super bubbly. IPAs usually, like, one of the reasons I don't really like them a lot is because they're so bubbly, and it just, I don't know, it does something to my jaws. It just doesn't feel good. Let's try it. I can really smell it. It smells really good. Oh, last thing, you can kind of see that amber color. I think it's really pretty. I do like the color of IPAs. Alright, so let's try it out. Definitely smells hoppy. You can almost smell like citrus. I wonder if it has like citrus hops in it. Anyway. It's definitely an IPA. I'm trying to see if I can taste the coffee or chocolate that's supposed to be in there. Not getting it. It's very clean. So IPAs usually have a long-lasting taste, so you'll really taste it all the way through, and even after you take a sip, it's just a long flavor that you'll get. This definitely has that, but it's not quite as bitter at the end or while it lasts on the palate as some IPAs I've had. I do like that. I would say it's a well-brewed beer. I can't say that I can taste any of the chocolate notes or coffee notes, and it might be that they didn't intend for them to be tasted. It could just be that they used them to tone down some of the hops or something like that. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't say it's bad. It's not bad at all, but it's not my favorite. Definitely try it. And as I'm sitting here, like, I'm getting like different tastes. I don't know what that taste is. It's not orange, but it's definitely something I've tasted before. I don't know what it is, but I would say on this beer, for appearance, it's beautiful. Like, it's absolutely beautiful in the glass. But I don't think it's my favorite. I would give it maybe, if I had to go with on style, So based on what this beer is and what it's supposed to be, I would definitely give it probably an 8, because, and this is if the coffee and chocolate notes were supposed to be tasted, I would give it an 8 because it's beautifully brewed, it smells amazing, it's everything that a double IPA should be, and you can definitely taste that it was well crafted. You can see that it's well crafted, but because I can't taste the coffee or the chocolate notes, I give it an 8. But as far as my preference, I give it a 4 or 5, probably a 5, because it's better than a lot of IPAs I've had, but it's just not for me. So I'm interested in what you all think. If you've tried this beer, if you've checked out Champion, please share some information below so other viewers can see and make decisions about this brewery on their own. And of course, if you have anything you'd like to suggest for me to do in the brew reviews, please also leave comments below. And I'll see y'all next time.